Glad you could join us. Now, workers of Ghana Consolidated Diamonds Company Limited in Akwetia in the Eastern region are embarking on a sit-down protest against management of the company for what they term as mismanagement of the mining firm. They accuse management of plunging the company into total darkness after ECG disconnected the company from the national grid though a monthly amount of 50 Ghana cedis is deducted from the salary of every worker to settle electricity bills. They are also accusing management of failing to pay their provident fund and 2 months' salary. The company has become dormant after Jospong Group acquired 100% shareholding 6 years ago. The agitated workers want governments to cancel the contract between it and Jospong. Joy News correspondent Kofi Siao joins us via phone with the update. Kofi, what's the current situation at the company premises?
Well, currently the workers are not working. When you go to the compound now or the premises of the company, you will see them sitting idly. Some are also in their bungalows, and they are saying or insisting that they will not go to work. Their reason is that the management of the company has been mismanaging the company because, one, they say about a week ago, ECD disconnected their lights, so they are not able to work because they owe the ECG. That is what they say. That is the first point they are saying. The second one has to do with their remuneration. They say that even though the company deducts the provident fund from their salary, they are unable to pay the provident fund. Again, they also talked about the fact that they have not been paid for the past 2 months. So the company owes them 2 months salary arrears. That is, these are the reasons why the workers have decided to embark on a sit-down protest against the management of the company.
So since this morning when this protest began, has management responded?
Well, the company, let me say, has not been working since the new owner took over. It has been very dormant, even though they acquired it 6 years ago and decided to, be 100% shareholder. So, but since it took over the activities or the operations of the company, it hasn't been able to operate. I must say that it has been very dormant.
So in the past 6 years, which persons have been steering the affairs of the company and paying these workers?
Well, the company was acquired by Jospong Group 6 years ago from government. And Jospong decided to operate the company from that time. But since it acquired the company 6 years ago, it hasn't been able to start operations. So the workers are there. They are being paid for some time now, but they say that about 2 months ago, they have not received their salary.
Right. So is there anyone to represent the interest of Jospong Group on site?
Come again?
Is there anyone to represent the interest of the new owners, Jospong Group, on site?
Well, they have management. They have management of the company. I know of the general manager, and I know one who is the public relations officer of the company. I've tried speaking with them, and they've not been responding to my calls.
Right. So they have not responded in any way to these workers since this morning's protest began?
Sure.
Right. Thank you very much, Kofi Siao. Stay on that beat for us. He's a man in the Eastern region. Now, moving on, some artisans and petty traders occupying portions of land belonging to the Achimota school are begging the authorities of the school to halt their plans to evict them from the parcel of land where they do their business. They say they risk losing their source of livelihood as they do not have any space to operate. A court sometime this year ruled that the school takes back the portions of land encroached upon by some private developers. Maxwell Agbagba is on this beat for Joy News and joins us via phone. Maxwell, have residents been telling you, what have residents been telling you, and are the rightful owners willing to grant their request?
Well, it was difficult getting in touch with the authorities of the Achimota school, but for the people that we spoke to, they are largely artisans. Majority of them are actually mechanics who are using that particular space to do business. And then there are also some petty traders who have occupied portions of the 172-acre land belonging to the Achimota School. Well, their contention basically is that the school authorities did not give them enough notice to leave the land. Well, they say they believe strongly that they are not the bona fide, owners of the land, and they will definitely comply with the directive issued by the Achimota School, but they want them to give them some time to be able to move. They say that the period that was given to them is not enough to actually move some vehicles that are parked on the prisons where they do the business. They're saying it will be difficult for them to move all these vehicles within a short period, of time. Well, but some of the mechanics who are occupying the portions of the land are also saying that they really are pleading with authorities to allow them to continue staying on the land and doing business on the land, because they are saying that they don't have any other space to go to if they are, sacked from the land. Right now, if you go to the portions of the land that we are talking about, some people have already been moved away. They've been evicted from the land, and plans are far advanced to put up a fence, as we are learning this afternoon, that a fence will definitely come up, on that particular land.
So, Maxwell, did they tell you, these persons who admit they are encroachers, did they tell you how much time they were given and how much more time they want before they move out?
Well, they say that earlier when they had interactions with the board of the Achimota School, they gave them a period of 6 months. But they are saying that 6 months is yet to, elapse. But authorities now are on their neck and then urging them, to move away from the land so they'll be able to put up a fence, around it. So they are saying that that time that they give them really has not elapsed, and authorities are now on their neck for them to leave the place.
And do we know when this time will elapse?
Well, they said they were given 6 months.
Right.
But the chairman of the Achimota Artisans and Petty Traders Association, Williams Barton, when I spoke to him, he told me that time that they were given has not really elapsed. Right. So they were waiting for it to elapse so they can find another space and then move on to. But it looks like that has not happened, and they are pleading with the authorities to halt the process.
Thank you very much, Maxwell Agbagba, for that report. He's a man on the beat there, speaking to some petty traders at Achimota. Now, let me tell you about these people who embarked on separate journeys through Libya with the hope of making it to Europe to seek pastures green. But it all didn't go according to plan, as hundreds of Ghanaians are reportedly subjected to inhumane treatment and torture at the hands of some Libyans. Over 160 of them detained in Libya were expected back home after government facilitated their release from the Libyan authorities. Joy News' Komla Adom was at the Kotoka International Airport, where some 127 of them touched down last night and came through with this report.
For 5 to 6 months, under very inhumane conditions and tortured in the search for pastures green. For many of these returnees, it's a story of a failed journey through a supposed easy route to Europe with no documentation. So we're here at the Kotoka International Airport, the domestic arrival terminal, where some 127 Ghanaian migrants who were detained in Libya have been repatriated, and in collaboration with the International Organization for Migration and many government agencies, these individuals are being escorted out of the premises, and they are going to be dropped off at the various bus terminals, I'm told, at Seko, where they will be moving on to their various homes or where they came from. We are told that they've been given some amount of money to transport them from here to their destinations, and after they have gone to their destinations, there's a plan, according to the International Organization for Migration, to reintegrate these people, most of them who are very vulnerable, back into the society. 28-year-old Ansa was on his way to Italy through the Mediterranean when he was arrested and subjected to months of torture. I was headed for Morocco but got stuck up in Libya, so I decided to travel to Italy. I was arrested on the sea. From that point, what was the treatment? Then I had a year more.
Mother pleasing 6 months in it. After pleasing 6 months, almost on back with deport. No, I'm saying yes, I call by before. And so I'm manting a Jare Cramming Jari Bida. And I'm Indigena, my brepa, the Winina Pro.
We were maltreated. Some of our colleagues were sold.
Winina Pro, and I'm Midina.
Yet to say, not a Unaphobia, Ghana phobia, not yet Tom as slaves.
Yeah, Tom, or Motom, or Elboom. Except for Baby Tranqui, Ghana for the Africa blast for the year. Say, Juma Muya, and Omutimiko Tom be at $300.
Some of our colleagues were sold as cheap as $3,000.
Well, now, Babusa, Nipe Wuru, a dozen Munyanqua.
Daniel is 26. He was pressured by the unemployment situation in Ghana to stow away. He is uncertain about getting his life back.
Libya akwanto no ayedin ene Libya sitting ayedin akolaketi otometri etu ewo so oje won sika oje wo phone oje bibia omutumi di etu okwa ebobo etumi bosi prison na bia ye nenam won say yenam safari desert so na omututu etu ne ade na manfo ba yedan ya me asese ya me adoma ye be share wa.
Youth are unemployed here. That's why many of them embark on some of these trips. But since we've been deported, we need jobs. We need yet to say some of your colleagues, Ghanaians, no, they were auctioned, not as slaves. Do you know about that?
Yeah. It's true. Say, and the question on moton, who could get to one of Nawodeka or Moboton, Ama Obi. No moton also, I say be a betting one of Mr. or Mobobo, Pa, Obey Jim or Munchioka, or Mobabo, or Mabahao, or maybe to me, I say, well, life, or a big crow to me shooting in 9.
What is the plan for you? What do you look forward to doing? Do you have a job? Do you have a family that you are going back to at the moment?
Like the beginning, I learned mason from school, and even I learned it from the house. So I would like to join my master so that we work together.
These are the lucky ones. Some have not lived to see this day. Some were tortured to death. For those
Libya, na watching one so what's in a UN? No, if you or UN, Libya.
I was really tortured. I have been hardened by this experience.
Try again. Libya, Midino, what the Etulu bomb, Obo. The
point I saw some of my colleagues being shot in the leg, it was a truly terrible experience.
Second, hi.
I was cut with a knife.
Libyans, no chum second.
Beyond the very disheartening experiences lies a bigger need: how to get reintegrated back into society and reunite with their families. We will be speaking in a very short while to Country Director for the International Organization for Migration, who has been coordinating this process so far since we came here. She has been coordinating the process. She has been seeing to the smooth running of the process, getting the migrants from the tarmac, getting them onto the arrival units where they are getting fed and getting nourished before they are transported from here to the various coaching terminals in Accra to transport them onward to their various locations. Here's Country Director for the International Organization for Migration in Ghana, Sylvia Lopez Ikra.
They're very relieved to be back in Ghana. You could see, despite the fact that they're extremely tired, some of them are malnourished, some of them are sick, they were extremely happy to be home. And the priority for us now is to make sure that they reach their homes safely in a dignified manner, and that we work with them to ensure their reintegration into their communities.
Okay, from here, what is the plan? Where are they being taken to? And beyond now, what is the plan for them? As you mentioned, the reintegration process, what's it going to be like?
So some of them are very vulnerable. and these ones, they deserve priority treatment in terms of receiving psychosocial support, health treatment, direct assistance. So when they have arrived, all of them have been registered with IOM, and they have received cash on arrival so that they can cater for their immediate needs. We are also organizing transportation to the main coach stations in Accra, so that's for those that are not staying in Accra, which is the case for a lot of them. They have the means to go back to their community of origin, and from there, after they have time to rest and recuperate, they will be in contact with IOM so that we discuss on a case by case basis what is the best way forward for them.
Can you give us the numbers? They are 168, we are told.
So 127 people have come.
They've been rescued. They've been deported. Even though they are grateful, the torture is over, they are singing one chorus, appealing for better livelihoods, appealing for jobs.
I never go to university, but I go to my university in Libya. Oh, they're supposed to, if you come, they're supposed to give us soldier clothes, because we pass soldier, Allah. We waiting, we see. No be anybody go see him. You understand me? You understand? So I learned a lot of things. The time that I did in this Ghana, if I get 1 million for today, I'll spend all of it. You understand? But now, if I get 1 city, and if I work to get 1 city, I will eat 50 pesos, remain 50 pesos. You understand? So that everything will go down. You understand? Then they're supposed to do something for us.
What kind of help do you need at this point? That you are back in Ghana, you are going to be reunited with your family. What kind of help specifically do you need?
You understand? The time I did in this Ghana, I work like tomatoes box. You know that tomato box that they used to take it to Burkina Faso. That's what. If I work it, then I sell some. You understand? I'll go and buy it, then I sell it. You understand? That what? If I get money now, I read Ghana. I can start my business. My eyes will not see one thing, then I'll take it. You understand? You understand me? But now they say you should take out our hand like this. Go. This small money that they give us is how much? 4.4. Yeah, 4. But this clothes, I cannot take it to home. It's shame, you understand? It's shame.
So from the Kotoka International Airport here in Accra, I am Komla Adum reporting for Joy News.
Let's stay with the topic, because the pinch of migration is also felt by the countries which these migrants wish to move to. In the year 2015 alone, Germany received about 800,000 migrants, which hit the local economy severely. On the back of these developments, the German government has found it necessary to partner Joy News through DWTV to educate the public about the realities of illegal migration. In view of this, all roads lead to the Issa Hall on the University of Ghana campus at 5 p.m. Thursday, where a town hall meeting is being held to discuss these issues. Let's go live to the Issa Hall and find out how preparations are coming along. Joy News editor Martha Krensolakwa joins us from there. Martha, so how are preparations coming along at the Issa Hall?
Thank you very much, Daniel. We are preparing for everything. We are going to host more than 200 youth who are likely to travel, who are likely to entertain the thoughts of traveling out of the country in search of greener pastures. So we are going to make sure that we get the answers from government on what it can do to ensure that nobody leaves Ghana, especially using the dangerous routes that are likely to end them elsewhere. So we are preparing. In fact, everything is under control, and you can be here by 5 p.m. and be sure that the conversation, #GH Migration Dilemma, is going to catch fire.
Right. So what should the patrons expect when they come at 5 p.m.?
they should expect an open discussion, an honest one, so that you should be able to express what you think, what you feel. Those who have misconceptions, because some of the migrants keep telling us that they hear the reports in the media, but they don't believe it because others go and come back alive. So why can't they also go? And so we expect to clear all the misconceptions. We expect to get the answers. We expect to have an honest conversation about the issue, because we have the migrants also to tell us why they know that there are dangers lurking and they still want to embark on this journey. So expect an open atmosphere, and it's open invitation to everyone to come here, join us, so we can have that conversation, and we are sure we can come out with some issues that can be dealt with at the policy making level or at our own level, our own decision making level individually.
Right, Martha, so on the back of this, besides the migrants who will be speaking to participants, who else will be there, particularly from government?
We're expecting the Information Minister and the Employment and Labor Relations Minister, because, you know, most of these migrants talk about lack of employment, and their main reason for leaving is to seek greener pastures. So if we're able to create more employment, does that mean we can curb this trend or we can eliminate it completely? So we have two officials from government who are going to provide us with the answers. And then, you know, here at ASA, we have a Department for Migration Studies. So we're going to have some, you can call it intellectual analysis of what the trends are, what the situations are. Because just yesterday, you know, the Afrobarometer survey released a report that says 28% of the youth are likely to leave in search of greener pastures. So we're going to have intellectual discussion on that level also. And then we are going to have the International Organization for Migration also represented on the panel to tell us, because they have made input into our national migration policy. And this policy we are yet to implement full scale. So they will tell us what recommendations they made to government. And, you know, that policy will also talk about how to resettle those who came in, for instance, yesterday. Those who came in from Libya, the 127, how to settle them. The policy talks about that. So it's a holistic discussion. We'll talk about how to resettle those who come back, what to do to stop the trend, and how to create employment. And funny enough, we know that there are other things that are attractive enough to other countries. If we can create those things here, does that mean our youth will stay? We'll find all the solutions to the problem. 5 p.m. today.
Definitely sounds like a packed program today at 5 p.m. and I myself cannot wait to attend. Thank you very much, Martha Quintilacqua. She's an editor here at Joy News. But we'll still stick with the topic, because a recent undercover report by CNN has sparked a global outrage about what many believe is modern-day slavery. The video of migrants being auctioned for a few hundreds of dollars for many is unacceptable, especially centuries after slave trade was abolished. The subject has dominated a conference of African and European leaders taking place in the Ivorian city of Abidjan, attended by President Akufo-Addo. Joy News is, however, learning it isn't always the case that the people being sold, as seen in the CNN footage, are being given away into bondage. In an interview with Idris, a survivor of the Libyan detention camps, he explains how he paid a price tag of 700 denarii to secure his freedom. He adds that in many instances, migrants in captivity simply want their freedom so they could continue their journey to greener pastures in Europe. Idris granted this interview in 2015, well before the recent revelation by CNN.
Squad na mi no mo ko de nya ye hilos na front it mi de ko duru normal ba hwa chi na mo beto mo ko ton ye ma Arab phobi.
We went in the Hilux, but we were arrested along the route and sold to some Arabs. They put us in the prison and demanded we pay 700 dinars. But I saw many Ghanaians there. Many of those who could not pay for their freedom died. Most of them were from Nkoranza. I spent 2 weeks in the detention center. We had to buy our own food. We were allowed to eat once a day.
Like, maybe I decided, okay, a day we make one day meet me, and I am a media named for that matter. No, but shrimp who comes, and I be a mission and some Makako pay deserts and so.
And a day, Usi coins, so I know we are catching. What do I need to be a better?
When you embark on the journey, You will learn the rudiments. Your habits will change. You cannot be sure if the money you have can take you to the end of the journey. Everything is management. There is time to drink water and time to eat gari. Sometimes while on the journey, the driver will not allow you to drink water or eat till evening. Starving is normal. I was arrested at Malaga. I spent about 1 week at the ghetto. I was owing the equivalent of 4,700 cedis. My two friends here paid for my freedom. You are like a cocaine for the Arabs. They can arrest you and sell you anytime.
Now, Joy News is by no means suggesting that the so-called slave trade does not exist. Indeed, in one other interview, another survivor narrates how he was acquired by someone who expected that he would work to redeem the price at which he was bought. He's also called Idris.
No. You cannot just walk around unless you pay for your freedom. You cannot celebrate Eid or say your prayers. It's all work. You serve your master through mixing mortar, carrying concrete and water. The money in Libya is good, and you are compelled to stay away from womanizing. And you don't buy food. Sometimes, when you finish working, they refuse to pay you and taunt you that you are not a Libyan.
But so you went through all this pain and challenges, but when you will go back?
Yes.
Now, Idris's interview and a similar account shared by at least one other survivor raises questions about whether the trade in Libya could all be described as slavery or it could be something else. You're still watching Joy News today. Stay with us. We have more on Ankaful Psychiatric Hospital situation up next. Thanks for staying with us. Now, the Ankaful Psychiatric Hospital crisis continues to deepen as striking nurses have refused to back down on their demand for the removal of the facility's medical director. Health Minister Kwekwa Jemaimenu asked the nurses to suspend their strike in exchange for resolution of their grievances. But the nurses are unimpressed. They have vowed to implement a full-blown strike. Richard Kojuyanko is our Central Regional Correspondent monitoring events at the hospital for us. Richard, that decision to implement a full-blown strike is disturbing. Tell us, what else was decided at that crunch meeting?
Well, Daniel, yesterday, last week, the minister met them. That was Tuesday. The minister met them and then asked that they give him 3-month period within which he will study the situation at Ankaful Psychiatric Hospital so that, he can take a decision on that one. So when the executive of the staff came back, they decided to put it into voting, and it was unanimous. They unanimously voted to reject the minister's proposal. Now, what they decided yesterday was that today at 1:30 p.m., just a few minutes away from now, they are going to implement what they have termed a full-blown strike. Currently what is prevailing is that they are not attending to outpatients and fresh patients that were coming for their medication and all of that. So if you go on the street of Cape Coast, there are a lot of mentally challenged persons that are on the street at the Paydu Junction traffic light, the Cape Coast Teaching traffic light, and other intersections in the Cape Coast metropolis. They are flooded with mentally challenged persons. We do not know whether it is as a result of the strike action and the inability of the families of these mentally challenged persons to contain them anymore. That is why the streets of Cape Coast are flooded. So today at 1:30, they said that they are waiting for their national executive because their national executive intervened, and they said that we're going to come out with a release. So they are waiting for the release at exactly 1 p.m. today, after which they will take a decision to implement that full-blown strike.
Right, so you describe a very interesting scene on the streets of Cape Coast where there are mentally challenged persons walking about the streets. How are residents reacting to this?
Well, some of them have been causing a lot of discomfort for people that move around. Even when you are driving, you see a lot of them. If care is not taken, one might knock some of these people down. And they are all over. But hitherto, it wasn't like that. The situation wasn't like that. You move several kilometers until you meet one mentally challenged person. But now it's as if they are coming in their drones. And so that is the current situation. That they are causing a lot of discomfort. You know, Cape Coast is a a place of tourism. And so a lot of people, foreigners, trooping, they come in and all of those things. So it's becoming rather an eyesore to the authorities of the Cape Coast Metropolitan Assembly.
Right, Richard, we'll come back to you for that update on the strike, which is to begin in about an hour. Now, meanwhile, the chairman of the Health Committee in Parliament, Dr. Kumi Nakayama, is cautioning the striking nurses not to blackmail the Ministry of Health with their action. He is saying that they should have listened to the sector minister, Dr. Kweku Agyeman-Manu, as their action is affecting health delivery services at Ankaful.
Well, it's a very unfortunate situation. We followed it up. The minister has assured the committee that he is trying to resolve it. Currently, the authority doesn't have a board. So the minister is supervising the authority, and then we are hoping that this will be resolved as early as possible. I will just appeal to the staff that if they have any grievances, they need to clear with the ministry, but to give ultimatum and other things. The CEO was appointed by the ministry, the minister for that matter, the government, and they are all doing that for the betterment of the people of Ghana, which includes these staff. Even if you have any challenge with the CEO, it is better you make your grievances known to the ministry so that they will do the best to support. But to give ultimatums, if you do that, you are more or less blackmailing the ministry, which will affect, corporate governance in these institutions. So I'm hoping that the leaders will see reasoning with the minister and then give him the benefit of the doubt that he will be able to solve this problem so that they can go back to work to help these, helpless patients. As you know, the mental health sector has a lot of challenges financially. We still haven't been able to pass the LI that will enable them to get these mental health funds to try and improve upon their finances. So I think that generally that sector of the health, that part of health sector is highly challenged. So the least the workers can do is to compound this problem by creating labor, unrest in the area. So I'm appealing to them to exercise patience and then allow the minister to try and resolve the issue, which I'm hopeful will be done as early as possible so that, there will be normalcy in that area.
Is this something the committee may be interested in intervening yourselves beyond what the minister is doing?
Yes, we are monitoring with the minister. We want to give him some little time. If things don't get to the way we want, we will step in as the people's representative to see if we can support the ministry to be able to solve this problem, because that is a very vulnerable area. It is one of the main centers in the country. We only have about 3 psychiatric hospitals in the country. It's one of the major areas. People come from far and near to the place. And if this is how they are being treated, because the staff is not working, it will create a lot of problems for us. So we need to make sure this problem is resolved as early as possible.
As I was enjoying us today, let's now stay with issues having to do with transport within the Greater Accra area, because we understand that there's unusually heavy traffic on separate streets across the metropolis. Now, we'll first of all begin with my colleague Gifty Andoapia, who has spent an inordinate amount of time in traffic today. Gifty, if you can hear me, which road are you on now? What's the situation?
At the moment, I'm headed towards the Kalkudi Junction, but I'm coming all the way from Fintech. So I use the Fintech, and on the Fintech, usually around, early morning, there's a lot of traffic, and that's understandable. But around, say, 9, thereabouts, you expect that the traffic would go down a bit, but it wasn't. There was still heavy traffic on the Syntex. So I spent quite some time there on the Syntex road, and then I got through to airport roundabout where the Shell is, and it was also there was traffic there as well. And over there were lots of police personnel standing by. And I was just explaining on radio that you would understand because airport is the entry point for the visitors that we're receiving here at Ghana. So
right.
They somehow they get to stop the vehicles, so they allow other vehicles to move. I can't really explain how they're doing it, but then it caused some traffic there on the airport roundabout road. And then from the airport roundabout, I got onto the 37 road, and there was a similar incident there. Traffic, usually there's traffic, but it moves really quickly. But this time, it wasn't moving as quickly as it used to.
Now, Gifty, how long does it normally take you to get to work using the same routes that you've described?
If there's traffic, I'm looking at 45 minutes and an hour, between 45 minutes and an hour.
And how long have you spent in traffic today?
I could say that I'm getting to about 2.5 hours now.
Yes. That's serious. Have you seen any specific reason, any special reason for the build-up of vehicles on the road today?
Not necessarily, not at all. The only thing I could say is that the police personnel who are trying to control the traffic, what they do is that they're not necessarily moving with the flow of the traffic lights. Okay, so when there's a blockade at a particular place and it's green for you to move, they will still let you hold on because there's a blockade at the other side or there's a lot of traffic at the other side, and they'll let them flow, which makes sense, so that there will be free movement. But I can't really place a finger on what exactly is causing the traffic. I don't know if there's been any diversion anywhere and people are having to use my kind of route, and that's causing the traffic. Or that there are people in town. I really can't explain that.
Right. We would be following that. But Gifty is not the only person who is faced with this situation. Baba Tando of Joy Sports is also on the road. Baba, which part of town are you in? Describe for us what you see.
Okay, so I'm coming not too far away from where Gifty is coming from. I live at the Greater Estate, which is not too far from the Psychiatric. Now, I had to use the Burma Hills. I mean, if you know that area very well, you go through the Lekma Hospital, through to the new roads that have been constructed around Burma Camp and, around the airport area, where they call Airport Hill. Now, getting out of that route to go join the main Elwa 37 road was very chaotic. So I actually stayed there static for like 20 minutes. So what I had to do was just to make the roundabout and go through Trade Fair. And over there, too, it was there was a lot of chaos over there. So what's happening is that the Black Star Square area, I'm talking about the Accra Sports Stadium, the Old Castle, the Independence Square area, has seen a lot of diversions. There's a lot of traffic diversion over there. So a lot of people are actually looking for alternate routes. So instead of the normal 30 to 45 minutes, it should take me from the Trade Fair Junction through Labadi to Osu, through to Sankara, and then to Nima and to Joy FM, which is Akokomlemle. Everybody is using that route now. And so over there, there's a jam. And unfortunately, there's no police on site to direct, affairs over there. So instead of, like I said, 30 to 45 minutes, it's taking me close to 1 hour, 45 minutes.
Right. Thank you very much, Baba Tando, for that particular update. It's very useful to add that about 3 different European presidents, including French President Emmanuel Macron, are in town today to visit President Akufo-Addo. As a result of that, some of the principal streets in Accra have been blocked. And we believe that could be, like you heard Baba reports there, that could be the reason for heavy traffic in other parts of town, as other vehicles have had to find alternative routes. And that's all for today's bulletin of Joy News today. For more news, log on to myjoyonline.com. I am Daniel Daze.